Did you know that in the US, 46% of kids woke up this morning without a dad in the home? Did you know that in urban areas today, 78% of young people don't have a dad in the home? Did you also know that fatherless students are 5 times more likely to commit suicide? They're 15 times more likely to have behavioral disorders. Fatherlessness is the epidemic right now in our country. So let me tell you how Men and Ladies of Honor began. I would say it's nothing really short of a miracle that God did. You know, I was working as a principal in the inner city of Dallas on what they call a Title I or an at-risk school. And what that means basically is all the students that go to that school, for the majority, come from single parent homes, low socioeconomics, just to have a lot of strikes against them already. And my job was discipline. So day after day in my office, I was dealing with mainly boys that the common denominator was they just didn't have dads. So being a dad and being a believer in Christ, I started mentoring a group of 4 boys, and I started teaching them the basics. You know, I started off with yes sir and no sir and yes ma'am, and you know, open the door for your teacher and just the basics. And these 4 kids that were really the worst on our campus quickly became the very best on our campus. And without really even promoting it, one day I looked up and the group of 4 boys had turned into 50 boys that were all sitting across from me saying, teach us how to be men. So at the end of that school year, a transformation had taken place on our campus. The district called me in and they said, what is it that you're doing that's different than our other schools? Because your discipline rates have cut in half, your test scores have gone up, your attendance has gone up, and we know you're not that smart. I said, well, you're probably not going to want to hear this, but I'm teaching these boys how to be Christ-like men. They said, you're right, we don't want to hear that, but could you do that on 3 campuses? And that's how we began. So from that time on, we began to expand all over the US, and now we're in 13 countries, and we're stepping onto public school campuses, and we're seeing as many as 400, 300 students respond at one time and join in these after-school Men of Honor, Ladies of Honor programs. So one of the more stellar examples that I could give you about impact in the public schools was when we went on to the campuses in Mesquite, Texas. We went into all 9 junior highs and we did record launches. As I mentioned, we had at one junior high 421 students. And in that group of students, we went through several meetings, and in one meeting, we saw as many as 200 students give their heart to Christ at one time. One of our most successful campuses was in Mesquite, Texas at AC New.
One of the students that really stood out to me was Drew. Coming in as a 6th grader, he was in my pre-athletics class, and we had several issues with Drew getting into confrontations with other students, clashing with people on campus, administrators, teachers, and a lot of times Drew didn't want to accept responsibility for his actions.
Before I was in Men of Honor, I felt like I was always a bad kid, and I would always try to bully other people, and I wouldn't respect anybody, not even my teachers.
When I think about Drew, I think about that being the biggest transformation, us to go from originally him not wanting to acknowledge, anything that had gone wrong, but to watch his involvement in the Men and Ladies of Honor, for him to go from not wanting to acknowledge that, but then to go from, yes, I acknowledge that there was a part that I played in this. I'm gonna own my responsibility. And that happened over a period of time. The more involved he became in the Men and Ladies of Honor, he became much more receptive to that.
What I like about Men of Honor is that Commander Drew is always there to help me, and a lot of the coaches are too. And it makes me think about a lot of what I do, like being mean to people, and then it helps me change myself.
And so just seeing that progression over the years of him coming in, being troubled, getting a lot of negative reports at home, even seeing things like being suspended, to really making an effort to not make that a part of his life anymore. And so seeing him change his track record, seeing him make some big changes to just improve the quality of his life. And I'm very proud of him. Very proud of the man he's become, and not just that people respect him for who he is.
I want to thank everybody who's helped me come this far.
Our vision is to take Men of Honor and Ladies of Honor to every single public school, beginning in the United States and all over the world. I really believe that if we impact students at this young age, when they're most impressionable, it's kind of like we're working with wet concrete, but we can help them to mold and shape the character and honor and relationship with God that I believe will transform their lives, their communities, and ultimately our nation. But we need men like you to step up and say, I'll go onto the campus. I may not have it all. I may not be the most dynamic speaker, but I will come on the campus and I will serve for 1 hour once a week. If you do that, brother, you will change the world.